Now, like I said, you might just hate me because I'm choosing to support the president when it comes to 2020, unless, and I said, and it's a huge unless the Democrats get their heads out of their rear ends. I don't see myself voting for any Democrat this year, like not this year, but next year when it comes to the 2020 election. You want to know why? Because one thing is to be sympathetic and be, very empathetic as well. When it comes to people's situations. But another thing is to say a lot of outrageous and really stupid things when it comes to quote unquote solving problems. Because here's the thing. Like I said, in 2016 I supported Bernie. I supported him and I literally hated Hillary. I didn't want Hillary to be the nominee. When she stole the nomination off from Bernie, I was furious and I was pissed off. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna vote for him, and I'm not gonna vote for Trump either. In fact, by not voting for Hillary, I'm literally telling the DNC and Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who was the chair of the DNC at the time, who was the leader of the DNC at the time. I literally said, you know what? By not voting for her, I'm gonna be telling the DNC that these guys need to get their head out of their rear ends, and then pick someone who the people want. Right? Hence, you got Trump, because people who said Bernie or bust. I was one of those people. I was Bernie or bust. I just didn't care. I didn't vote for Trump and I didn't vote for Hillary. Some people who were going for Bernie chose Trump because Hillary was a huge corporatist, right? A huge corporate Democrat and an establishment Democrat. They didn't care about her, right? They didn't like her. She just wasn't likable. Now in 2019, Bernie began talking about how prisoners should have the right to vote. People who break the laws should have a say in what the laws are. Because it's really stupid. I thought it was really stupid. And they said like, oh, every prisoner has a right to vote and all this other nonsense. And I'm thinking, no. While they're in prison, by all means, no. But the thing is that some states, I will criticize though, that some states that they literally take away your right to vote, even though after you serve your sentence. I think if Florida has that. I think Florida has that kind of law where if you commit a crime, after you serve your sentence, you still are not allowed to vote. That's why I think it's wrong, right? I do not like that idea. But the thing is that if you're in prison, meaning that if you're behind bars, you do not have a right to vote. You shouldn't. Now, if you serve your time and your debt to society, by all means, go on right ahead. If I go to Florida, I'll be more than willing to vote for a law that says that all former convicts, right, that have served their time in prison have now the right to vote. But I am not gonna vote for giving the prisoners the ability to vote to vote to vote from prison. I think even one of Bernie's town halls, or I think it was during it was when he was speaking to like a group of people in an audience. He was asked, people like you've been saying that prisoners should be given the right to vote. Under your quote unquote law and policy, the Boston bomber, should he have a right to vote from prison? Even though he killed a few people and injured several. And he said, yes, people have a right to vote from prison. I'm thinking, no, dude, no, they don't, right? But now AOC wants to take it a step further. She doesn't just want people to vote from prison, because I think she's actually voiced support for that. But now she wants to abolish prisons altogether. How do you guys expect me, if you're a liberal, if you're a Democrat, how do you guys expect me to support these kinds of things? You can't say, well, Carlos, it's because statistically, minorities make up the majority of incarcerations. Well, and my response to that would be, well, why are they committing crimes in the first place? I mean, that's the thing. It's not racist to assume that people who are in jail committed crimes. That's why they're there. Now, some people might be wrongfully convicted. That happens too. But that's literally a small instant where that happens. The majority of people in prison usually deserve to be there because they were convicted of a crime. So it's not racist to say that in the least, right? And even then, let's say Hispanics. Hispanics, they make up part of this. They make up a lot of the incarcerations too. Am I racist towards my own kind, my own people? Because I'm literally telling them, well, why are you committing crimes in the first place? Right? That's the thing. I'm not perfect. I've been tempted to do a lot of bad things when I was growing up. I grew up in the very bad parts of where I live. Right? But never in my mind did I ever commit anything that would pretty much, that would pretty much get me in trouble with the law. I was tempted though. I've been tempted by quote unquote friends that I should have never hung out with, and I stopped hanging out with them after that. But I've been tempted before. I've been pressured before to steal things, to kill people, and I'm thinking, you know what? No, no, I'm not gonna do that, right? And the thing is that now she wants to abolish prisons. So if someone breaks the law, where do we send them? Where do we send them? Are we gonna send them to Guantanamo Bay? I will say send them to Venezuela. I would say send them to Venezuela if you want to abolish prisons. And like I said, if you're a liberal, if you're a Democrat watching this, how do you expect me to support this way of thinking? See what I mean? Like I said, leftists and liberals are different. But if you're literally watching this and you're thinking, how can you support the president, Carlos? Well, what option do I have? Give me a good option at least. I will gladly vote for a Democrat if their policies make sense and are not over the top. If their policies involve letting prisoners vote from prison, if their policies involve open borders, if their policies involve getting rid of the Second Amendment, if their policies involve, abolishing prisons, then I can't vote for that. I can't. Now, I believe to some degree we should have, we should be able to be aware of who buys certain guns. Because at the same time, too, I do not, I think that a decent background check should take place, but not like the ones we have in California, right? We're talking about background check after background check, and the process is incredibly long. Yeah, I do not believe in that. It's just simple ID, name, any criminal records, any mental illnesses in the last few years. No, okay, here's your gun. Simple as that. But no, they want to make it a lot more complicated, make it harder for law-abiding citizens to get guns, and that's why I cannot stand with the Democrats as of today, right? I can't stand by them. So if you're a liberal or a Democrat watching this, give me a good reason why I should vote for a Democrat as of today. Give me one good reason why, because I do not believe in open borders, and definitely I do not believe in abolishing prisons. Like I said, AOC, she's a special kind of stupid. I'll give her that. And just when I think that she can't get any more stupid, she just likes to prove me wrong. Again, I'm surprised. But let's read the article. The title reads, Occasio-Cortez calls for abolishing prisons in the United States. Socialist Representative Alexander Occasio-Cortez, a Democrat from New York, said this week that it was time for the United States to have a serious conversation about decarceration and prison abolition in this country. Not going to happen. You're crazy. You really are. Mass incarceration is our American reality, the former bartender tweeted. It is a system whose logic evolved from the same lineage as Jim Crow, American apartheid, and slavery. To end it, we have to change. That means we need to have a real conversation about decarceration and prison abolition in this country. No, it has nothing to do with, it has nothing to do with race or anything like that. Granted. And I'll admit this, okay? I think it was when Felicity Huffman was sentenced for her college bribery scandal. She was given, I think, 16 days. I think I could be wrong, or she was basically given a very light sentence, right? And then Bernie put out a tweet and says like this black woman got sentenced, got a sentence of years for trying to get her child into a different school that was not in her district. Felicity Huffman gets to bribe college admissions officials. And yes, she gets a very light sentence, and he says this proves that America's system of justice is racist. And I'm thinking, no, it's not. I think it's very biased based on the money you have. It just happens to be that the people who do not have the money happen to be minorities. And I'll give you a good example: Jussie Smollett. If America's criminal justice system was truly racist as he says, and as Occasio-Cortez says, Jussie Smollett would be rotting in prison right now. But no, it had nothing to do with his race, not even his sexuality. It's because he had money, he had connections that money can buy. Like I said, it's not racist at all. If you commit a crime, I think that you should suffer the consequences. There's nothing racist in saying people need to, people who are in jail are there because they're just of their skin color. That's not true. I don't agree with that. So I think it's really an illogical statement to say that. Sure, I think that the criminal justice system is biased towards wealthy people. It just happens that the wealthy people, the majority of them happen to be, white people. And the people who tend to be poor tend to be minorities. But there's exceptions. Like I said, Jussie Smollett is a good example of that. If the criminal justice system was truly racist, Jussie Smollett would have never had his charges dropped in the first place. Anyways, let's continue. Mass incarceration is our American reality. The former bartender tweeted. Actually, no, I already read that. I'm sorry. Occasio-Cortez continued, claiming without evidence. Yesterday morning, I spoke with a woman who was thrown in Rikers as a teenager, put in solitary confinement for months, aka torture. I don't see how solitary confinement is torture. I really don't. I mean, at least I don't think so. Force-fed pills. The conditions were so bad she had to drink out of toilets. A cage is a cage is a cage is a cage is a cage, and humans don't belong in them. Well, if that's the case, then just don't commit crimes. Simple as that. You don't think humans belong in cages? Don't commit crimes. Simple as that. Again, she doesn't even say why she was put in there. Maybe she had a mental condition. Maybe she was mentally insane. We just don't know. But that shows that, again, I can't support the left when they're thinking like this. Let's continue. Ocasio-Cortez who has spearheaded the Green New Deal and Abolish ICE movements, made the radical remarks in response to a story about a man who was sentenced to 10 days in prison because he failed to appear in court for jury duty that the judge wanted to teach him a lesson about responsibility. And yes, just so you know, if you don't show up to jury duty, you can get imprisoned for that. Shocker, I know. But that's the thing. As a United States citizen, you have the responsibility to be in a jury if you are demanded to do it. Unless you, of course, if you are exempt. Therefore, you have to submit it. You have to, when you're filling out the jury application, you have to pretty much, fill out, you have to fill out whether or not you have mentally ill, whether or not you have a relation to the individuals being tried, etc., etc. Right? But as usually in many cases, you are mandated to be on the jury because you are a U.S. citizen. You have that obligation as a U.S. citizen to basically be the jury of an individual who's about to be tried for a crime, or a civil case, pretty much, right? So I don't think there was anything wrong here. 10 days in prison is not that bad, really. But again, maybe you should have said, you know what? Maybe I'm gonna go to jury duty. Maybe that will, maybe that will keep, because again, usually you have to go to jury duty once a year. Usually it depends on the state, I think, but I think it's once a year. And I remember getting that jury duty thing, I think last year. It sucked. It was boring, let's say the least, but I still had to show up. I didn't want to go to prison, right? Ocasio-Cortez, who has repeatedly portrayed herself as a victim of the political right, continued, I know the term prison abolition is breaking some people's brains. It's not that we're breaking people's brains. It's just that we just don't make the sense of it. Why do we get rid of prisons? Why? The right is already freaking out. Well, I'm not part of the right. I'm a centrist. I just happen to be supporting the president, and I refuse to follow the craziness of the left right now. So you're wrong right there too. Yet the U.S. incarcerates more than anywhere in the world. We have more than enough room to close many of our prisons and explore just alternatives to incarceration. Like what? Like what's a just alternative? What, parole? A lot of people still break the paroles. House arrest? That ain't gonna happen, right? So what? Explain what's the just alternative. Give me an example. Oh wait, I forgot. You don't have one because you just like to virtue signal. First of all, many people in jailed or in prison don't belong there at all. Some of them don't, but the majority of them do. Most of them committed a crime. Like I said, some people tend to get wrongly accused and wrongfully convicted, but the majority of them, they're pretty sure they're there because there's actually enough evidence to prove that they actually committed a crime. Ocasio-Cortez continued apparently unaware of how the criminal justice system works, whether it's punitive sentencing for marijuana possession or jailing people for their poverty and letting the rich free through the systems like cash bail. We wrongly incarcerate far, far too many people. I'll agree with that though. I will agree with them on that one though. The rich do have a better chance of making the cash bail. However, it's not a racist thing. It's a wealth issue. It's not a racist thing. Like I said, Jussie Smollett is a good example. The guy, if the system was racist, the guy wouldn't have got the slap on the wrist that he got because of a hate crime hoax. It would have never happened. Right? He would have been rotting in prison. It's a wealth issue. It just happens to be that the people who do not have the money are the majority of them tend to be minorities. But it's not racist. It's not a racist criminal justice system. Right? It's not. Secondly, our prison and jail system is so large because we use them as a de facto mental hospitals, homeless shelters, and detox centers instead of actually investing in mental health, housing, education, and rehab. If you're trying to blame conservative states for that, I think you're missing California because they have a homeless problem in LA and San Francisco, and they're not investing in a lot of mental rehabilitation centers. Instead, they're investing in poop patrol and portable restrooms and all this stuff. And they're also trying to investing more money in fixing fire hydrants and actually trying to promote and trying to incentivize homeless people from breaking fire hydrants in the first place. Yeah, if that's the case, if you're kind of alluding to conservative ideologies, then go to California. Oh wait, that's right. It's a leftist state, and I know because I live there. Anyways, let's continue. But anyways, so if we invested meaningfully, what do you think would happen to crime? Occasio-Cortez concluded. Lastly, people tend to say, what do you do with all the violent people? As a defense for incarcerating millions, our lawmaking process means we come to solutions together. And either way, we should work to an end where our prison system is dramatically smaller than it is today. The Washington Freeborn Beacon noted that less than 4% of state-level offenders and less than 1% of federal offenders are incarcerated for any kind of drug possession. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, the share incarcerated for marijuana offenses is unknown, but almost uncertainly a fraction of this fraction. Here's the thing. I don't think we should ban marijuana. I don't think marijuana should be illegal. Same thing with the vaping ban. I don't vape at all. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't vape. I think it's stupid. But hey, if you want to ruin your life, by all means, go on ahead. I'm not gonna tell you you can and what you can and can't do. Right? You're an adult. You know the consequences, or at least I hope you know the consequences. And if you die of of a damaged lung because you're smoking or vaping, hey, that's on you. I can't say I didn't warn you because I told you, hey, you know it's bad for you. But hey, don't come crying to me when you say, oh, but my lungs, I can't breathe, man. And I'm thinking, well, you decided to smoke, 20 packs a day, so it's not my problem. Oh man, my liver, I have a liver disease. Well, man, maybe you shouldn't have drinking that much, right? But again, it's not in my mind to say that. If they want to smoke, by all means, go ahead and smoke. But if the law specifically says smoking marijuana or possessing marijuana is illegal, and you're carrying marijuana, then you're breaking the law. You know you're breaking the law, and therefore you should be incarcerated. Now, sometimes the sentences can be a little extreme, and I will disagree with that on that. But if you break the law and knowingly break the law, then I think you should be punished for it. But like I said, I don't think marijuana should be legal. I don't think vaping should be illegal either, because it never works. It never works. People will do what they need to do, and if they have to break the law, they'll do it. In fact, 55% of all state offenders, who represent 88% of all incarcerees, are in prison for violent offenses. The Free Beacon added, roughly half of federal offenders are incarcerated for drug offenses, but more than 99% were drug traffickers, according to the BJS. And that concludes the article. But like I said, if you're a liberal or a Democrat watching this, I'm not specifically criticizing you, but I'm just curious. Like, if you guys are watching this video and thinking, I can't believe Trump is Carlos is wearing this type of hat. And again, I like this hat. I really do. I like the design, and again, I'll pretty much support Trump because of the options that I have for the Democrats. It's again, liberals, Democrats. If you're watching this specifically, I'm talking to you in this case. If you guys really want me to vote for your side of the party, explain to me why I should. Why should I vote for abolishing prisons? Why should I vote for open borders? Why should I vote for getting rid of the Second Amendment? Why should I vote for any of those things? Why should I vote for Medicare for all if the result is going to be getting rid of all private insurance? What if I'm satisfied with my private insurance? What? If I'm satisfied, what? I can't have it anymore? Because the government believes that it's better, their insurance is better? Well, how do they know? Right? Like I said, liberals, Democrats, if you're watching this, I want you to genuinely tell me, why should I vote for the Democrats, the current Democrats right now? Why should I ally myself with the Democrats knowing their policies are too extreme for a person like me? I don't believe in open borders. I believe we should make a simpler system to get people to go into this country. That way they're not incentivized to cross illegally. But I don't think we should have open borders in general. I don't think we should. I believe that, yes, there's a problem with the prison system in regards to wealth bias, right? Because usually rich people tend to get lighter sentences because of their connections and their wealth, right? But I don't think it has a matter to do with race. And I don't think the solution is to abolish prisons. And I don't even think prisoners should vote from prison anyway, right? But let me know what you guys think about this. Honestly, if you're, again, conservative, Democrat, whatever, but specifically liberals and Democrats who were watching this video, why should I vote for your party knowing the nonsense that they're spewing out when it comes to presidential candidates and people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? Let me know what you guys think about this. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit the notification button as well. That way you never miss an upload. But the best thing you can do, and I said in every video, is share the video because YouTube likes to see the rank independent political commentary. And you sharing the video helps me bypass all those restrictions. At the same time, too, if you already subscribe or you are a current subscriber, bookmark the page because YouTube apparently some of my notifications have been being sent to spam by some of my friends who are subscribed to my channel. Therefore, meaning you might or you might not get notifications every time I upload a new video. So again, bookmark the page and check on it daily. I try to upload on a daily basis if I can, and if I can, I try to do it at least every 2 days. And again, honestly, let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think we should abolish prisons? And if so, what's a just alternative for this? Okay. Again, have a good day, you guys. Stay awesome.